Good evening, Dumelang Aye. Welcome to Bayways, a show for Africa by African youth. I'm your host, Happiness Ranto, and I'll be sailing the ship tonight. As I've said last week, so Baywaves was created with the idea of making Africa great. So we're still calling out to the youth all over Africa to join this movement so that we can achieve this mission. So if you want to connect with us, we are Bold Moves Radio here on Facebook, and we are also available on YouTube. And then if you want to get in direct contact with us, make sure to contact us on 072 822 1610. The number is available for calls and WhatsApp. So last week we were talking about financial management. As Baywaves, we've identified that one of the biggest challenges in Africa is poverty. And it's not poverty because we are lacking anything, but it is because we cannot manage our finances. So we had quite a lengthy conversation with Dr. Baloyi. If you've missed the episode, please make sure to find it on YouTube. It's Bold Moves Radio. The episode was airing last week, Tuesday. And if you want to watch it on Facebook, it's also saved here. So we were talking about savings, investments, a bit about loans, trust funds, wills, and employee benefits. So I just want my people, because right now I'm alone, our guest is running late, so we're just gonna have a monologue. So please make sure that you participate there in the comment section. I'm actually lonely here. My co-hosts are not here. There's no guest, so please be with me. I just need I want us to talk or have a reflection about last week. So if you still have questions about savings, about loans, about investments, please make sure to throw them there in the comment sections. If there's anything that you have learned, also please drop it down in the comment section. Well, there is something that was very interesting that I had um, during our conversation last week, the thing about trust funds. I was thinking hard about it. I was even having a conversation with a friend. Is it really a good thing? Because if you check most of the time, um, the the benefactors, the people that are benefiting from the trust funds barely do anything good out of it. So if you check, because our generation, trust fund, you see them abusing it. They are not even going to school. You see them travel the world. So there's kind of the advantages, the disadvantages to it. So I want to know, what do you guys think about it? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? The advantages and disadvantages. Like I said, I'm here alone. I would like you to join me in the comment section. I also need my directors in the background to play some music for us so that it can get cozy. Yeah, and another thing that I want us to talk about is affordability and eligibility. I feel like a lot of us fall into that trap. And mainly because these banks or these financial institutions set these stress for us. So I want us to talk about it. What does affordability mean to you? What does eligibility mean to you, or to qualify to get something? What does it mean to you? Like I said, drop down your answers or questions in the comment section. Yeah, you are qualified. Sorry. I'm actually using my other phone to check your comments, so please make sure that you're with me. I'm receiving a message that I'm not audible. Does anybody hear me? If you can hear me, please send a thumb up emoji. If you can't, chances are you're not even gonna hear this transmission. So I'm just gonna wait from the people. If you can hear me, please send a thumbs up. And I'm just gonna assume if I'm not getting any reaction that nobody's actually hearing me.
You're very audible.
Oh, thank you. While we are at it, please make sure that you share the live airing. I want a lot of people to be here because we can't continue with this generational test. We can't be falling into the same traps our parents and our forefathers fell in. So share the airing to the 6 people watching me right now. Please make sure you share the airing on Facebook and on WhatsApp. That's where the people are at. And this conversation is also important for your scholars, especially university scholars, your newly graduated people, and then the newly employed. Because the traps are the same. When you are in university, you get offered things that you don't even know about. I was having a conversation with a co-host of mine, Nyeleti. She was telling me that, you know what, I'm still a student, but I got offered a check account or something with those benefits. And truth be told, that if you get something like that offered to you, you're going to jump into it because of the benefits. If somebody is saying, take the money, you know, the excitement, given that our age mates, but were soft life. You know, we are not there yet, but we still want it. We still want to go out during the weekend. We still want to do the things. So, and then the newly graduates, they're looking for jobs, they get offers. So it's something they need to pay attention to as well, because you're gonna get offers like loans, you're gonna get offers, study credit cards. But if you don't know anything, you might fall into a very horrible trap. So please invite them. Also invite the newly employed, because once you get there, pay slip, and you go to a bank or a garage, you can afford a Mercedes. And Mercedes, oh, but 3 months later you lose it, and then you just end up having a bad credit record and all those bad things. Oh, thank you. I see. So please, guys, if you can hear me, if you can see me, make sure you interact with me in the comment section. Yeah. So my question was affordability versus eligibility. What does it mean to you? And does affordability include repo changes, and there's a special term for this, the financial fluctuations. I'm forgetting the financial term for it, but I'm gonna find it just now. Yeah, so what I want to know basically is that when you say you can afford something, does it mean your ability to, you are able to pay for that certain thing until the very end, or does it mean you can pay for that thing and your life as usual? Because that's something else, hey? Or somebody can afford, I mean, I don't want to use the word afford because that's what I'm looking for right now, but they can be able to pay for a car installment without missing any pay, but they can't eat anything during the month. You know, they can't even buy proper toiletry because they're paying for that installment. So what does affordability mean to you? Please, please, please interact with me in the comment section. I'd like to know. There's also something called eligibility. So what are the differences, or what is the difference between affordability and eligibility? While at it, make sure to share and show your love. I'd like to see hearts pop up in the phone on Facebook to show that you love me. And we're still celebrating Valentine's Day. So please make sure you share the love with me. I want to see those hearts popping. And yeah, since we're celebrating love, I just want to say to our viewers and listeners, supporters all over Africa, we love you. Baywaves love you. Bold Moves Radio love you. And yeah, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. This radio station and this program, it is what it is today because of you guys. So thank you so much. Thank you for your love, and we are sending it back to you multiplied. My people are not talking to me. Why not? Talk to me. Talk to me. We are here. You also follow our YouTube page. Woo! YouTube page in case you miss any show. So it's very easy to access the videos on YouTube than Facebook. But if you prefer Facebook, make sure that you've liked our page. Yes, Bold Moves Radio, all the way. Okay, so this is what I think affordability means, or what I think eligibility, the difference between the two. Eligibility is when they tell you for a, based on your credit record, your income, you can be able to pay the certain amount for the certain product. So I'm just gonna be using a car as an example just to make a clearer picture. So eligibility is me going to a bank with my 15,000 salary. I'm just newly employed by my company. Bangodisha 15,000. Then get up a sleep go garage. I go garage. I show them. I'm like, you know what? I want a car. But I'm there's this whole compilation of things that they do. Like they'll check your expenses, your overall expenses. They check your credit score. After doing that whole assessment, they tell you, okay, you can afford this certain car. We are going to offer you this amount and you're going to pay this amount per month for this certain period. So back to the example. Ooh. Excuse me for that. So what really happens is that I go garage with my 15,000. I'm sorry for that. I'm gonna go to the garage with my 15,000 salary. Okay, I'm looking for a car. After they've done that assessment, they're like, you know what? You can actually be able to pay 8,000 per month. An Audi or a Mercedes, your German cars. They're like, no, you can even get it. Take it. And then me being excited, coming out of poverty, you're going to get this excitement. You know what? I made it. Haters gonna hate, but I still got this. Truth is, it's a very nice feeling to show off your hard work. Especially, the normalized perks of getting out of poverty. It's normally those sporty cars or your designer clothes or fancy apartments. You know this. So yeah, I get really Mercedes to a car. Then now I have to go back and pay my accommodation. Normally a standard price, give my 5K to get like a decent place to sleep in. So from 15,000 minus 8,000 minus 5,000, you are left with 2,000. Ona mo ausitho oreka your groceries, ausitho oreka your toiletries, ausitho oreka petrol, insurance, car check. And one thing that the tricky part about is that you just never think of other costs like insurance, car track, at the time, the excitement, it blurs you from all of that things unless you've thought through the whole buying a car process. That's why it is advisable, or before you buy a car, just think it through. Give yourself some time, like a couple of months, just be sure, okay, if I buy a car, the insurance code, there's hippo.com. By the way, I'm not marketing anything. It's just information that I know personally. There's hippo.com that compares insurance codes. So even if you haven't bought a car, you can still contact them and tell them, okay, I want a Ford Fiesta, this model. So how much are you going to quote me? They're probably going to ask you, how long have you had your license? So the longer the period, the cheaper the price. What else affect insurance? Yeah, if you're under 25 years, it's really bad because apparently we are a risk. So if you're under 25 years, that's also a factor. The insurance goes up. They also if you're in your dangerous townships or suburbs, that's still gonna count. And I can mention right now. So once you've made the code, okay, now the car, what am I going to use it for? Am I going to use it to go to work, or am I going to use it just to go out during weekends? Then overlay a rough estimation, yeah, petrol. Maybe if you know somebody who has the car, okay, full tank, okay. Hey guys, right now petrol is very expensive. It's very, very expensive. The cars generate 300 now. So that's something that people need to look at, because sharp, you can afford to pay for a car, insurance, tracker, but petrol will be like, baby girl, sit down with your car and use a taxi. So you also need to look at that one. Let me see something else. I'm also checking if you guys are sharing your love here. Oh, there are actually comments. Nice. I'm happy to see comments. Comments make me so happy. So please make sure you send in those comments. We're talking about affordability versus eligibility. And I was still explaining affordability, or okay, it's that instance that, eligibility, the instance where they tell you, you qualify for this much, and then you're gonna pay the certain amount for the certain period of time, but it doesn't account your other expenses like your daily expenses, your accommodations, your tracker, your petrol. So that is your responsibility. It's not responsibility of bank. Yes, they do help with those assessments, but most people lie on those assessments. Accommodation, you're like, no, I'm not paying any accommodation. Yeah, maybe at that time you'll be staying at home, but are you gonna stay home forever? So you need to take note of that. And then affordability means, you know what, you can still pay for that car installment and your life itolebili. And then to further explain affordability, it means you can still save something, saving something for a holiday, saving something for rainy days, because days can be really rainy, especially when you have a car. So let me see the love on the comment section. Lutuku Kenneth is saying affordability is just being able to purchase something and able to pay without any hassle. And then Matala is saying affordability means you can afford something, then you have enough money to pay for it. But Matala, isn't that eligibility? I feel like Lutuku explained it very beautiful, or you pay it without any hassle. And Leona Sanjari, what does it mean, paying without any hassle? Because truth is, installment seller, if I do care about my credit record, installment seller some Mercedes, I'm still gonna pay it, you know? But what happens with my life during that period? I no wings, no ice cream. Is that affordability? Let's try to redefine it very well. You're just gonna take a few seconds for an ad break. I hope the directors in the background can hear me. So we're just gonna take an ad break and we'll be back in a second.
This is Bold Move Radio. Streaming 24/7.
24/7. Africa, Africa, Africa.
Boldly breaking barriers and limitations.
Thank you.
Streaming 24/7. 24/7. Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika nakupenda sana. Oh, Afrika nakupenda sana.
Thank you so much. Welcome to Bay Waves. We are still raising a flag of hope for an African child. I don't know if I'm back on air. We were still talking about affordability versus eligibility. I am not seeing myself on the screen. The directors, please help with that. I'm not sure if I'm audible. Oh, awesome. Yes, welcome back to Bay Waves. We are still raising a flag of hope for an African child. We do believe that Africa can be great if you and I and our sister or brother, we can work together to make sure that Africa is great. Like I was saying, Africa has a lot of resources, but we are just failing to manage the resources that we do have. So before we went to our ad break, we were having a conversation about affordability versus eligibility. I asked my people here to define in their own words what it means to them. You are affordable. I mean, you can afford something, or you're eligible to get something. And I'm seeing a new comment here from Mashodi. She is saying being eligible doesn't mean one should go for that, as it will cause problems. Sinjay. People should always offer affordability so they can still live comfortably and be able to save, etc. I do agree. I 100% agree, because once you have that pay slip, you're going to qualify for a lot of things. Or you have a pay slip. So you need to make sure before you go for a loan, before you go for a credit card or buy a car or a house, just make sure that you draw like your expenses down and check, okay, after your overall expenses, your savings and your investments, how much are you left with? Say in that you're left with 5,000 rands after deducting your expenses and your savings, including investments. Say you're left with 5,000 rands. Then from the 5,000 rands, reserve money for insurance, reserve money for tracker, reserve money for petrol. Petrol, insurance, tracker, and also things are going to happen. Things are going to happen that are not going to be covered by insurance or the garage, because normally when you hear or you have a savings plan, you think, if my brake pads then I can just go back to the garage. No, it's another money. Things like this, you just never know until you do research or you actually experience it. So a car is more than just an installment with the petrol. It's just a lot of work. So please, I know the luxury of having a car sounds so fancy. It sounds like a dream come true. Like I think everybody got the thing of working. They think, I'm going to buy my own car. I'm going to buy my own house. I'm going to travel and do that. But make sure your finances were the planner. Last week, we were talking a lot about planning. You need to plan. And speaking of planning, there's also a point of passive income. It is very, very important. You cannot depend on one source of income unless you're earning millions or hundreds of thousands. And with our jobs in South Africa, there are only few that any that much. So you should make sure, okay, even when you're earning your 5 grand, there is still some 500 coming from somewhere that is not directly from your thingy. So maybe we can also discuss business ideas in the comment sections. Which businesses do you think they do make money? And then they don't require a huge capital. Kikule, our president Ramaphosa last week, or was it this week? I think it was last week, about certain people that started their businesses through the 350 grand. So it is possible to actually start a business, a successful business using a small capital. I know one. Baking scones. Like the baking business makes money. You just have to make sure you do have a proper market. From there, you make over 200% profit. So yeah, if you know of any businesses that don't require a big capital, please make sure you share it in the comment section. Or a sister or brother out there that they just have a salary only and they would like to start a business. So please make sure you drop down the suggestions and recommendations in the comment section. If you have a business on your own or you're selling something, you need to recruit. Also, if for example, we have your Avon, you have your Herbalife, and you know you guys make money out of that one, but please don't be dishonest. We don't want money schemes that are just going to make people fail worse, and we need real things. So make sure you share your business down in the comment section. Remember, it's businesses that don't require a lot of capital. Yeah, while at it, make sure you share the live airing on Facebook and on WhatsApp. I see 9 people are watching right now. So thank you, people. Thank you so much. If the 9 of you can share this airing, it will mean a lot to Bay Waves and Bold Goose Radio. Remember, we are trying to build Africa, and Africa is a whole big continent. It's a very big continent, and I can 2-3 people can just fix it alone. We need more people to join in the movement. And how can they do it? Bakakhona will join if they can hear about this whole movement. And we thank God for technology, because we can now share. A simple share can reach the States, it can reach Ghana, it can reach Congo, it can reach all over. Our Facebooks connect us to the rest of the world. So please make sure you do the right thing. And if you want to connect with us privately, you can send us a DM right on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook or you do have Facebook, send us a DM on Messenger. the name of if you're listening from somewhere else, the name of our Facebook page is Bold Goose Radio. So drop it down there. If you would like to have a personal conversation, we also have numbers at 072-822-1610. You can find it, you can contact us on WhatsApp or through a call. But please make sure it's during business hours. And another thing is that we are also looking for people who are going to say, you know what, I cannot be there like directly acting on this movement, like going out, spreading the word or recruiting people or brainstorming, but I do have like 10 rands that I can contribute to this movement. We do accept it because we have a foundation that we're going to launch soon under Bayways. So this foundation, we are trying to act on whatever that we discuss on air. So since now you're talking about financial movement, financial marketing, what we are going to do is we are going to find a project about financial management and share it with the rest of the world. We might go to schools or go to universities, like a nice thing that is just going to make people more aware about financial management. I also see that our guest just joined us. I'm so happy. Good evening, Mr. Ramata.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, welcome to Bayway.
Thank you. How are them? And good evening to the listeners as well.
Yeah, they're sharing their love. They greeted back. We've been waiting for you. So shortly before you came in, we were talking about affordability versus eligibility. Can you just tell us what affordability means? What does eligibility mean to you and as a financial expert as well?
Well, I take affordability as being able to handle that particular expense, being at a position financially where you are able to pay without having difficulties, without any other huge financial impact to you at that moment. So it's a matter of you being able to pay comfortably, and still being comfortable. So it doesn't impair your lifestyle. It doesn't change how you live. It doesn't really affect you in a bad way. And then being eligible, it's a whole different story, because now being eligible is a matter of, can they give you that? If you are looking at credit, in terms of credit, can they give you that credit? Are you at a position where if people borrow you money, can you pay it back?
I do agree that you defined it very beautifully, but I realized that I was actually rude. My people don't know you the way I know you. So please throw in, who are you? Because you just jumped in here and now you're talking to us. Who are you? You just see the name Marvin Rangwacha, but who is Marvin Rangwacha?
Well, some of your old listeners would know me. I've been here before. Marvin Rangwacha was basically an accountant. I think that's my field of study. That's my field of work. That's what I do, which is basically finances and accounting. Yeah.
I am basically an accountant. Be modest. And also, a fun fact about Marvin Rangwacha is that his final matric accounting mark was 100%. 100% matric, Marvin, accounting. How did you do that?
Well, that was a bit while ago, so things are quite different now.
Yeah,
But
but
it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of determination, and just applying yourself and trying to answer each and every question that you have there, and just trying to do your best. You never go into an exam to say, yeah, I want to get 100%, but you go in there saying that I want to do my best, I want to do something to the best of my ability, not necessarily get everything right, but getting something to the best of your ability.
nice one. So hard work is key to our listeners, especially the scholars. Hard work is all that is needed to pull through. Make sure you put in the work, and that's how you see the results. So, Mr. Ramwaka, so we'll be jumping from this thing to another thing because, before you came in, I was like all over the place with the things that I was talking about. But I want to take you back to last week, what the president was saying during SONA. He said something like, they have given themselves 100 days to help grow the economy, create jobs, and what not. I don't know if you're listening to the speech. Do you think there's anything different that the government can do now that they haven't been doing all this time?
Well, remember what the president speaking, he needs to say positive things. He needs um, the confidence. So he needs to inspire confidence in everyone in the nation. He needs to inspire everyone to do something to make sure that we actually get to a place where we're doing better. But I feel like 100 days, it's very small. I don't see any possible way of achieving what he was talking about in just 100 days, given what they've been doing. I mean, their track record. But it depends on who's talking as well. So 100 days might be enough time for someone, but definitely not for this government. I mean, you know their track record, you know what they've been able to achieve and what they've not been able to achieve. We all see it. But I honestly don't think 100 days is enough to turn around this economy. But however, the World Bank did mention that we can turn around our economy to more than 6% growth and about 5 years from now. So, and they were projecting that if we apply what they have in their economic reform, we can go to growth again.
All right. So there is still hope. I'm actually hopeful that maybe in the coming years, South Africa will be better than the state that is in right now. And like Marvin has said, he joined us sometime last year. I think it was our first, if not second airing. We had him and we were having a whole discussion about the economy. So if you missed that episode, it's on YouTube. Bold Moves Radio, you should just go back to 2020 around September, you'll find it there. And the conversation was very informative. We spoke about a lot of things, including credit score, taxes, repo rates, and all. And that's still part of this conversation. But before we go back to that whole conversation, next time we'll talk about passive income. Or you know what, it's not nice just depending on one source of income, especially in this economy. So before you can even give us examples, how one can get passive income, can you just describe it or define it in a very better way?
Well, passive in a sense that it's income that you are earning without you having to be doing any activity on a daily basis, without you having to be involved on a daily basis. Means passive income should be income that you earn without you leaving your other work or things that you do on a daily basis. So it should be something that generates money on the side, but it shouldn't be a side hustle. It's something that generates money without you lifting your finger.
Oh, so it shouldn't be a side hustle.
There's a side hustle, there's passive income, right? Passive income is when I make money with something, but I basically just check how much I made. And then with a side hustle, it's something that I do on the side, which makes me money.
Oh. All right. So with passive income, I shouldn't like put in the work. I should just be there relaxing
Income
and
you
waiting
make
for
without
income.
putting in the work. Obviously,
Oh, nah.
at the initial stage, you do something. If your passive income is in a form of interest, you will do the investment, and then you sit and you wait for your interest.
I
And
just
then
learned something there. You know, all this
yeah,
time I used to think side hustle, the money you get from there, it's passive income. Even next time, you know, recommend businesses that one can do to get passive income. Can you know? There's side hustle and passive income. So do you have any businesses or any investments that you can think of right now that you can recommend to the viewers and listeners at home?
well, there are safe investments that you can make with with like investment companies, recognized one and registered with the FSB. Those are like the safest ones. And then with the safest ones, you don't get more risk, but the interest is also low. So with younger people, I think there's an opportunity to go for a bit of risky investments, not calculated risk, but just a bit more. And then you get a chance to earn more. You look at hustles like being active, being a retail share investor. And I think we live in an age where we can do that quite easily. We have apps which do that. I think I can think of two, Robinhood and Easy Equities. So you basically buy stocks and then sit on them for like a couple of years, and then you might make in excess of 200 to 300% profit. So those make more, but they are risky in a sense that if that share drops, the price drops in the market, then you stand to make a loss. But they're safer than investments like trading forex indexes and all those. Those are much higher risky types of investments, which only professionals or experts should engage in, because it's not something that should be recommended to retail investors. So there are a couple, there are a lot of investments that you can do. A simple one would be, you remember in the age of shop stamps, where you buy stamps for 5 rands each, and then it accumulates. It's basically your money. You're not making any profit, but it accumulates for rainy days. That's another form of a way to keep money aside as well, especially in this economic climate. It doesn't grow, but it's there for rainy days.
All right, thank you for those recommendations. This question was the most, it was asked a lot last week. We were having a conversation, Lohana, we're talking more about savings and investments. So if you've missed the show, you can go watch it on YouTube. It was uploaded last week, Tuesday. Yes. The title, Kiona Financial Management Series, Savings, Loans and Investments. So if you've missed it, we had Dr. Ndlovu, who was also explaining about what to look at when you want to invest. And thank God for Mr. Marvin here, who feel a couple of examples, study businesses that you can invest in. So for those who have just joined in, You are watching Bayways. We are having a conversation about financial management. This is a series that we have launched last week, Tuesday. We are talking about savings, loans, and investments. So last week, we pretty much covered everything about savings and investments. And today we'll be talking about loans. So if you have any questions that were not answered the last time, you can still drop them down in the comment section. And if you have any questions about loans, also drop them down in the comment section. Do not forget to show your love by sharing the live airing and also subscribing to our YouTube channel. So, Mr. Rangwaha, I should tell the people that you're an accountant, so that they know whatever that you're saying. I'm not just talking to Nomubani. He looks very young, but he's a qualified accountant. So, Marvin, ke fela ke kwa taba ya gore they are actually good debts and bad debts, especially to build your credit score. So, can you just give me an example or ke tse feng tse e leng di good debts and what are bad debts?
Well, good debt is that you use for good purposes, like making more money, and then you have a residual at the end. When you pay back your debt, you end up with a residual, like a profit. But bad debt is that you take for things that you could do without debt. It's that ends up taking you, straining you financially, that you can't afford. Being in a position to take debt doesn't necessarily mean that you should do so. So it's debt that you take, but you cannot afford. And then you end up being financially strained and in distress and in a position where you can't pay all those things. And now you need to get debt counseling and then reviewed and then negotiations with your creditors. So it takes you into processes that you wouldn't want to go in ordinarily. But good debt is that actually elevates you. Remember, debt is not entirely bad. You can take debt to do something, to start a business, for an example. And then that business grows, makes money, you pay back your debt, and then what you left is your business at the end of the day. And you acquired that business through debt. So good debt should be debt that leaves you with a residual for a good purpose. It's like buying property, buying a house. Buying a house, ordinarily, we do it for like, people do it for like 20 years, 30 years. But in the process of owning that house, the house might increase in value, might be valued more than the debt that you initially took. So at that stage, you have a residual, meaning that your net worth is actually more than what you started with. So you're at a position where you have net asset and in the whole transaction of you taking a loan to buy a house, and then the house grows in value. And now, even if you sell the house and you still owe the bank, you're actually going to get some money because when the agent sells the house, they pay the bank and then they are left with the residual, and then it's money you take with you. So that's a form of good debt that actually leaves you with a residual.
Thank you for that one. You know what you're saying, it goes back to that conversation, affordability versus eligibility. Sometimes just because you qualify to get a certain debt, it doesn't mean you'll be able to afford it. Marvin has already explained, yes, you can get a debt the first couple of months, but going forward to and then end up getting that counseling, getting reviewed. And truth is, you do not want to go through that route. It messes up your credit record. And with that, it just messes up your life because you cannot get anything once you have the bad credit record. And about good debts, I remember the conversation that we had the other time, Mr. Marvin, when we were talking about credit scores, ways to build your credit score. You can open a clothing account. Okay, if I go there, account, banfa like 1,000 rands in that account, by using less than 50% of what you're given, you're taking your score up. And sometimes just you have to show the, I don't know, who are you proving to? Is it the bank or what? Yeah, but you're just showing them, you know what, I can afford to take a debt and pay it back. Like a credit card, there are 200 rands, take it, and within 2 weeks, but that you're showing the bank or whoever who you'll be applying whatsoever to, or you can actually pay, and you can pay on time. So those are part of the good debts that we are talking about. Speaking of debts, Marvin, to a student level, there's something called a student loan. How is it different from a normal personal loan?
Well, it's a loan with a specific purpose, but a student loan is normally given to the parents of a student. So even if the student is there on the loan, but the parents are ultimately liable for the loan. So should the student not be able to pay, the parents are liable and held liable to pay for the loan. And in our country, mostly when you take a student loan, it normally has to involve the parents signing on it as well. So they are jointly and severally liable for paying back the money.
Okay, so my question is, all right.
With a normal loan, they just look at your affordability, your financial position, and then they look at how much they can give you. That's a normal personal loan. So there's that difference, because with a study loan, it's for a specific purpose and it goes towards that.
Okay, so basically it's a personal loan, just that it has a certain purpose. But what I want to know is that in the cases where one cannot pay, whose credit record is gonna get messed up? Is it me, the student, or my parents?
So it starts with you, the student. If you were there, if you were there to take the loan and your parents are there as surety, then it starts with you. And then if they don't pay, it goes to the surety as well. But in normal cases, parents will go do the whole thing. So it messes up their credit scores. Normally, what happens is parents go and take the loan, and then they are liable, and they are the ones who will be affected.
Oh, so basically it's gonna affect both your credit scores.
Yeah, if you don't pay. Remember, if you don't pay, it affects yours, and then they go to the parent. And if the parent doesn't pay, then it's both of you.
It's cheeky, huh?
It's like security on a loan. They're just there to say to the bank that if Marvin doesn't pay, I will pay. And then now it happens
that makes sense. That makes sense. It's like a backup of some sort.
Yes, because ordinarily a student wouldn't be in a position to afford.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Marvin. You're still tuned in Bay Waves. We are currently talking about loans. So if you have any questions about loans, any questions, any clarity, please drop it down in the comment section. And while at it, please share the live airing. This is going to help newly employed somebody out there, but who are graduating. So, it gets very tricky. Life after graduation is very tricky. So make sure you share this live airing so that we don't continue with this generational curse. We don't want to be that generation. It should end with our parents. This generation is here to make wealth, not poverty. So yeah, speaking of loans, Marvin, there's something that I keep on hearing about, which is not a personal loan. I'm not sure if it's a personal loan, but it's called with a special term, a revolving loan. What is it?
Well, it's more of a ready-made thing that you don't really have to go to the bank to talk to someone. to get it. So it's readily available on your hands, and it's more of a credit facility, but it can be for a higher amount, and it's called a loan, like a bank overdraft. So with a bank overdraft, you literally have access to it without talking to anyone at the bank when you have that
Applying for
credit
it.
facility. Yeah. So you don't have to apply, you have that facility readily available to you. And then when you get money into the account, it firstly pays the overdraft, and then you can use the money that's left, or you can use the overdraft again. So you can see, like, you don't even have to apply. So if my overdraft is
Okay.
like 5 rands, I get 4 rand into my account. I still have, I pay back 4 rand. That means I have another 4 rand to use, though it's just overdraft. It's not my money.
Speaking of overdraft, I know once you start getting catching in your account, they can see all of this frequent movement of money. They start offering overdraft, and a lot of people don't know what overdraft is, and it's tempting because of whatever they're giving you 50,000 overdraft. I want to know, overdraft, does it have an interest rate, Leona, or you pay what you owe?
It's actually, overdraft is actually more expensive than normal loans. Remember, it's more risky because
Okay.
it's not a secured loan. You didn't have to apply it. The checks are based on where you were at the time that you were granted the facility. So it's more riskier than a loan. Hence, the cost is higher. But what they would do normally, banks, they would say that it's 30 days interest free, meaning that in a month, if you just use it and pay it back in a month, you don't incur any interest. But after that, the interest can go as high as 16%. Yeah.
And you see, such things that are very addictive. Almost finally the loan, they're very addictive. Once you tap into one, it's very tough to get out of that zone. So please make sure you do the right thing. Still back at affordability versus eligibility. If you cannot afford it, stay away from it unless you know or you have a plan.
Yeah.
So I see there are no questions about loans in the comment section. So I'm just gonna move to Tabaya financing. And just to make it a little bit clearer, we can use car financing as an example. So I want to know from you, looking in the financial part of it, what should one look at when they're getting financing?
Well, it's very, very important to look at your interest basis.
Okay.
Remember, if most car financing contracts are based on prime rates. So what happens is, if the prime rate in the country changes, your monthly payment actually changes, because now there's more interest that you have to pay, or there's lesser interest that you have to pay. So those are the things that you look at, the basis of your interest, how long you're going to pay is very, very important as well, and the balloon. Because normally when you see those specials, getting a car for like 2,000 rand a month, there's usually a huge balloon at the end, a balloon of like 80,000, 100,000. Obviously, you can pay it back at that time. You will refinance, and now your loan term ends up being 6
More
years
years.
instead of 5, or 2 more years, or 7 years instead of 5. So those are the things that I feel like you should be looking at. Other than that, car financing, it's almost standard. That market has been standardized in such a way that you find minor differences from products to products, from banks to banks. The differences are minor, such as limit on car age as well. Some will tell you that they won't finance a car that's over 2 years. Some they will tell you that they won't finance a car that's over 5 years. So those are the type of things that you look at, and the type of insurance that is required as well. So some will require insurance with tracker, all those things. So it's just reading between the lines and understanding and taking your time. I think the minute you start doing that when you rushing, that's where you make mistakes. But if you take your time, sit down, read everything that you need to read, you likely make you are likely to make the right decision. And ask questions. Make sure that if there's something that you don't understand or something that you don't agree with, ask questions. Don't just sign and get the car because you can, but just do the right thing and do it for yourself. Let's just read, because we don't read anything. Even with instructions on setting up a table, normally people only read them when they failed to set up that. Yeah. If you set it up successfully, it doesn't matter whether you did it the wrong way. You wouldn't even look at the instructions.
I think that's something that we always do. You just try to figure it out, and if it's not successful, we are then manual. But other than that,
that's
a very dangerous activity. That's very dangerous. So
let's avoid that and do simple things.
I've noted a couple of things as you were speaking, but before I get to them, there's a question about overdrafts there in the comment section. Rulani Baloyi Are, is overdraft not secured by the monthly salary that the bank is guaranteed it will come monthly?
It's not guaranteed. Remember that I may get fired today. Tomorrow, I can take that overdraft. And I need things, man. Times are tough at that time. So I need to buy things. I use that overdraft. It's not secured. It's an unsecured form of finance. Hence, it has it's usually limited to a small amount. Well, relative to your salary as well.
So tell me, like I know your secure systems like Budi Loan, they do have the insurances. Or okay, in the case where I cannot pay this loan, then the insurance will pay the rest of the money. So you cannot get an insurance for an overdraft.
There is no insurance for an overdraft. Imagine if they're saying it's interest free within 30 days, you pay it within 15 days. You now have to pay insurance. There's usually no insurance. Usually there's no. Yeah.
All right.
It might happen with another bank. There's none.
I don't know something about this whole car financing thing. I've noted a lot of things, balloon, the prime rate and all that. And one thing that people don't take note or pay attention to, once they see a car that is advertised on a TV ad or radio ad or magazine, wherever, normally, bashimisha prime rate, by the maximum balloon, what. And when you go there thinking, you know what, quit is actually 1,500 rands. But there are other things that are hidden there. So please make sure. And thing is, once you go to the garage or trust, nobody can convince you otherwise. And those people, because they're trained or they're salespeople, they're still going to convince you, or you know what, get this car. I know we advertised it as 1,500 mark, but now it's 3,000. You can still afford it. And chances are, because you've already made up your mind, or you know what, I want this car and I'm going to buy it, you just end up falling in the same trap. So Marvin, speaking of prime rate, because all cars are advertised at prime rate, how does one qualify to get a prime rate? Like, is there a certain credit score that qualifies to get a car at prime rate, or it's just something that is non-existent?
Yeah, people do get credit with like prime -1 or prime -0.5 or at just prime. Yeah, it depends on your profile. It depends on where you are financially. So if you look at most private clients, that's what they get. They will get credit at prime -1 basis point or prime -1%, 0.5%. So it's still based on prime. Remember, when prime shifts, it shifts. but they are getting cheaper credit because of their financial position at that time. So remember, if you are someone who makes a lot of money, the bank is guaranteed that you are going to pay, you are in a position to pay. And you normally don't need credit. So they are trying to make credit cheaper for you so that it's something that you may consider.
All right. I see our people are still stuck Mutabenya overdraft. I think you've answered this question, but because Carol Matawata has a fan badge, I'm just gonna ask it. To my knowledge, an overdraft is an unsecured loan because there isn't an asset for collateral attached to it. Is this accurate?
Yeah, she's very accurate because that's exactly what I was saying, that it's not secured. So there's nothing attached to it. If I don't pay, there's nothing that they're going to take. And there's not even insurance attached to it. So that credit facility is unsecured, hence it's expensive.
Thank you, Marvin. You are still watching Bay Waves. We are currently talking about loans. So please make sure you share the airing before somebody, a sister or a brother out there, falls into the poverty trap. They fall into the trap in our parents into. There's somebody who's looking go garage, or we buy cars, or website trying to looking to buy a car. This conversation is very essential to them. So if you want to buy a car, or if you'd like to buy a car in the future, or if you'd like to correct your mistakes, because sometimes, we did a mistake and you realize later. We are also going to talk about damage control at this hour. Make sure you share the airings so that we can get more people involved in this conversation. So back to the financing thing, Mr. Rangwaga, I should also advise our people that Mr. Rangwaga is the accountant in the house. He's giving us his financial expertise advice. He did give a disclaimer. Marvin, did you give a disclaimer?
Yes, my disclaimer, I'm not a registered financial advisor. I need that disclaimer. So if you need any financial advice, please seek a registered financial advisor. I'm not registered with FSP. I don't have an FSP number. So if you seek financial advice, please see a registered financial advisor. And if you want to confirm if or whether they're registered or not, you can do that with the FSP. They give you the details. You easily go on the website and do that. But when you take my advice, take it with a pinch of salt, because I'm not registered to give you financial advice or offer financial advice to the public.
I'm sorry, I think I had a network glitch there. Marvin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that disclaimer. So about King Prime Rate and your balloons. Last week, if you missed the show, they did explain what a balloon payment is, and a lot of people voted against it. So balloon it's linked up to Tabela Arena affordability versus eligibility. It means you cannot afford to pay that certain amount. Please, Marvin, correct me if I'm wrong. This I've learned last week. Balloon payment, it just means you cannot afford to pay for that certain amount. So they finance you for the amount that you can pay, and the remaining amount, but they hold it back and with the hopes of refinancing it later. They pay it, but I'm not sure if I explained it properly.
So I think you did. That's what normally happens in practice. But the main idea behind a balloon payment is that you're gonna pay a lump sum at the end. So it means that you probably maybe gonna have money on the side, and then at the end you pay that 100,000. But it's usually unrealistic. So when you get to that 100,000, you need that 100,000 from the bank they paid, you technically just refinanced. Or
Yeah.
just you could have just taken probably a loan for that further period, but you were paying less. So those are like you don't afford, you can't afford to pay that
Mm,
loan. So that's why they do that for you.
all right. Yeah. So if you have any questions about car financing, also drop them down in the comment section because right now that is our main focus. If you're looking into buying a car now or later, this conversation is very essential for you. And if you feel like you've done a lot of mistakes when buying a car, this is also still a good thingy for you. Uh, Marvin is going to be offering advice on how to correct your mistakes. And there's also Tawaya. Well, let me not spoil this one because I want us to talk about it later on. Mara taba e nngwe e ke e tsebang, I don't know how does it work. So hota ke ilo reka koloi in September. Oh, we're in February. I'd buy a car now. They give me my car now, and then they say you can start paying by June. How, like that whole process, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? How does it affect my total repayments? Does it affect my credit score in any way?
Well, no, it doesn't affect your credit score because those are the loan terms and you're within
Okay.
your terms not to pay. But what happens is that it's a grace period in the whole loan term. So they're giving you, now you have months that you won't pay, but you are obviously going to accumulate interest, and during that period you are going to accumulate interest that you need to pay at the end of the day. So it is good for you for the time being that you don't take money out, but at the end of the day you're still going to pay that money back and the interest you accumulated during that time. So if it's
Okay,
6 months, interest for 6 months will be added to your original loan.
sorry, so that's more interest most. So grace period is also a trap.
Or some people might need it, might be in a financial position that they need that grace period. But if you're just taking grace period for the sake of taking it, then I see it as a trap for you. So it depends on where are you at that time. Are you able to make payments now, or are you able to make payments in 3 months? If you are able to make payments in 3 months, can you wait till the 3 months and then start with that credit facility? But if you can't wait, yes, you can use that option of grace period. But if you can wait, you'd rather wait because you don't incur any interest. But if you can't, then you take it. But if you can pay and you see that grace period being advertised, rather pay and avoid that unnecessary interest being incurred, because now you're accumulating interest without reducing it with anything. Remember, with your payments, majority of the money goes towards the interest portion at the beginning. And then as you pay more, and then it starts going towards the principal loan portion and less of the interest. Because when you pay, the interest becomes lesser and lesser and lesser. So if like in month one, your interest is based on 1,000, you pay 50 rands. So your interest was based on 1,000, you pay 50 rands. Interest on 1,000 was 20 rands. Now you pay 30 rands towards the loan portion and 20 rand for the interest. Now on the next payment, your interest is based on what? On 970, not that total 1,000 rand. And then you pay again. The interest will be less than the 20 rand at the beginning. It'll probably be like 19 rand. And then as you do that, you go down and down and down.
Guys, where were you gonna get free consultation? Like, it's always Valentine's Day here, Mobile Waves. We are always showing the love. This is our gift From Baywaves to you, pre-consultation. If you have any question about financing or loans, drop it down in the comment section. People pay a lot of money just to get this information. So please use this opportunity, especially Kadikoloi, because we know, especially our age mates, so if there's anything that's confusing you, please make sure that you ask us right now. And the thing about what Marvin just explained, they never tell you go garage. They're gonna make it as if it's a benefit or for this 6 months you're not gonna pay, but hey, it's also a trap. It means more interest. So if you're not listening to this, you're gonna miss out on that information. So Marvin, I want to know what happens in the instances where you cannot pay. Well, we are gonna start with a short period. Let's just say I'm experiencing financial crisis for 3 months. What happens if I cannot pay for those 3 months? What can I do for them not to take my car or for it not to affect my credit score? What can I do?
Well, it's always a good idea to consult them. Don't run around, just tell them that I'm experiencing this. I cannot pay for this 3 months, but I'm expecting to be able to pay again after 3 months. And sometimes you make arrangements, sometimes you can't, but usually they will make an arrangement with you so that you can pay. But it cannot be 3 months. I think 3 months would be a lot. Some will agree on a 2-month thing. And then after 3 months, you are due for repossession. So if it's just 2 months, you can just go to them and call them and make them understand where you're coming from, and then they'll make an arrangement with you.
Will that affect my credit score?
Definitely, it will be reported as a non-payment during that time, or a late payment,
Okay.
So, but once you are able to pay and start picking up, your credit score will be rectified. So at that point, because indeed you are facing financial difficulties, it will go down, but it will be rectified once you are able to pay. But with things like that, you need to make arrangements with the bank or whoever the creditor is. But making arrangements is very, very important, especially when you make arrangements in advance. Then you know what to expect.
100%. They just automated machines that don't know what we're dealing with. In actual fact, if you do communicate and on time, they're not so horrible. I know of a situation where somebody that I know is the breadwinner and somebody in the family passed on. So for that period, never looking for funeral arrangements, and she had to pop out a lot of money. But popping out a lot of money meant she called the financing company, arranged with them. I think they only required death certificate, and then they gave them the holiday payment holiday. Is it what they call it, payment holiday, if I'm not messing up with the terms? So they gave them that, and then they made an arrangement, or okay, the 2 months you're gonna either pay them the installment they just so, or you are gonna pay at the very end. So please, these financial institutions, make sure that you communicate at all times. I see we also lost our guest, Mr. Marvin, but I'm sure he'll reconnect with us. Let me just see the comment in the comment section. There's Lutuku saying balloon payment is a trap. It is a trap. But the advantage to it, it can help to help you afford. Let's put it that way. Let's just say in instances where you cannot really afford to buy a car, but you need it. So staying Gorwana, you get a car, 3,000. The cheapest car in South Africa, let's just say, is 3,000, but you can only afford to pay 2,000. You can arrange with the financing whatsoever, or upatele 2,000 and the 1,000 per month, they can cap it as a balloon payment. So it's not so bad if you really need it, but if you can avoid it, please make sure that you do. There's also another one. Imagine on the second last month, maybe after 5 years paying for the car, you get an SMS that says you need to pay a balloon of 40% of the total amount that the total. Let me read that again. Imagine on the second last month, maybe after 5 years paying for the car, you get an SMS that says you need to pay a balloon of 40% of the total amount. That time you were paying monthly installment. This is the generational curse that we're talking about. Okay, check out but let's go on Louis, they've been paying since you were in primary. I'm sorry, they've been paying since you've been in primary. Louis. How come? Like, how come? There's also Matala who is saying, I think balloon payment means if the car is 300K, but you can't pay installment of 300K, then they can give it to you by installment of 150K. After paying that installment, you must have 150K cash to finish up the 300K, or else you buy it again via bank refinances. Am I wrong? No, you are 100% correct, Matala. There's another one, balloon, you pay installment twice. I'm not sure if you pay installment twice, but no, I don't think you pay your installment twice. You just have to refinance it, and you're gonna get new interest rates on the refinancing. There'll be new loan terms on that refinancing. Yeah, I see Lutuke has explained it. Armatala, if they say balloon is 40% for a car that is worth 300,000, it means you'll end up paying 420,000. Sure, that's a lot. So like we said, if you can avoid balloon, please avoid it. It's just more debt. Yeah. So now I also had a question. Yeah. The payment holiday, would you take it or not? Like that instant where you buy a car, they tell you, or you can only start paying it at June. It sounds flashy, it sounds like cool. Now I have like 6 grand to spare every month. I can even pop up, go Cape Town and have a lavish life. But is it really worth it? Would you take it? Let's hear in the comment section. While at it, please make sure to share the live airing. Yeah, we are giving you free consultations, so please share back the love by sharing this live airing. Yeah, and we are also going to discuss Tabaya being blacklisted. In cases where you cannot pay for a long period, but repossess your property, but blacklist, we want to know, okay, what really happens? Do you remain blacklisted? What does it mean to be blacklisted? How can you remove it? And if you have any additional questions, make sure you drop them down in the comment section. And there's also Tabaya debt consolidation and debt reviewing. I personally don't know much about that information, but I'm sure our financial expert will join us to answer questions about that one. So in the meantime, I want us to play a game. You know, with me, we always play a game. I want everybody to participate. To our 9 viewers watching, please share the live airing so that we can have more people to make this game fun. Well, I did pop those hats. Yes, I see hats. It's Valentine's month, and we are sharing the love. I love seeing these hats in the comment section. So please make sure you share those hats with me. So we're gonna start the game. If you were here last week, you probably know the drill. So this game, you're gonna choose between 2 things, and you need to explain why. So if you choose option A, you need to tell us or why option A. So the first one, would you take a savings account or a check account? Would you take a savings account or a check account? Say the bank is offering you two things, savings account or check account. Which one would you take and why? Let's start on it. So for those who do not know, my knowledge about check account, I think it is the one that gives you a privilege, yeah, or create the overdraft. I'm not sure, but I think the savings account is not eligible for overdraft. They only offer it for checks, a check account. But I could be wrong because I don't know much about that information. We'll confirm it with our financial expert. But yeah, that's the information that I know. With your checks, they offer you an overdraft. That one, it's a given. So I want to know from you. And there are also other benefits. I know, look at the toll gating, they just swipe. You cannot swipe with your debit card. Yeah, your savings account linked to your savings account, but you can do that with your check account. So I want to know, would you rather go with the perks of a check account or stick to your savings account? No, or what you have is what you have and there's nothing else. I see Carol Matavata. Thank you for the comment, Carol. At a check account, mainly because a check account enables me to have a little influence on my credit score. That is 100% correct. The fact that you just opened a check account boosts your credit score. Yeah, there are those things that whenever, just like a clothing account, by virtue, automatically you open it and you take an item, credit score goes up. I remember the first time I was aware of my credit score when I learned there's something called the credit score. When I opened, I was on a 4. My points were 4. I had 4 points. Imagine. And I had to build it way up. What I did was I opened a clothing account and I made sure to keep it under 50%, made sure to keep I pay on time, even before time in most cases. And I saw my credit score jump from 4 to exactly 500 and something. That was like in just a month. And then from there, I started doing other things until I got to a point where I was really happy with my score. So it's not that hectic. I know it could be discouraging when you get to your thingy or with a credit score, and that's because you don't have debts, especially if you're a student. So the credit score, it will be at the lowest. But to jump up, it's not really an issue. But also the danger of it, Corey, it's also not difficult to come back home, come back down. So we need to pay attention to that. So if you want to build your credit score for credit score purposes, a check account is also a safe way to go about it. And then Lutuku are savings law, lesser rates. Yeah, and I see like most savings account right now, they are offering an interest rate, but I don't want to say interest rate because Dr. Baloyi educated us last week already. That thing is not called interest, but with lack of a better word for it, we're just gonna call it interest. But it's not really interest, but yeah, it's some catching you and on the side. So most savings accounts right now, they have that benefit. So I personally, well, I don't know. I think both parts. I'm just conflicted. And please, guys, to people who are watching on Facebook, we need to play this together so that it can be more fun. Make sure you interact and invite people through the link, through sharing, so that it can be more fun. And the second question is, would you rather take a credit card or a revolving loan? So if you missed it, a revolving loan is like, say they offer you, the bank can offer you like 30,000 rands as revolving loan. So with your revolving loan, after you have paid a certain percentage. I think the standard is 15%. After you've paid 15%, you can re-lend the money. You can get the money. You can loan back the money. So 15%, that 30,000 guy, I think it's 4.5. I could be wrong. Just doing it in my head. I could be wrong. So if you have a calculator and I'm wrong there, just correct it the right amount. But because we're just using it as an example, so we're just going to stick to 4.5 as 15% at the 30,000. So revolving loan means get a loan, yeah, 30,000, and then get 4,500. After I have paid that 4,500, which is 15% of that amount, I can borrow it back again, like 4.5, then I go back to pay. Then, it's just revolving. So that is a revolving loan. A credit card, we all know, it's like an account that is offered to you, and then there's also an interest rate. They give you a certain amount, like say, since now we've used the example, yeah, 30,000, 30,000, interest rate, or okay, maybe you're going to pay 3% of whatever that you've borrowed. Yeah, it works like that. But the dangers of credit card, they are not only charging an interest fella on the amount that you've borrowed, but there are fees like card payments. You actually pay for the card, no matter you're using it or you haven't collected it. There's an amount that you pay for the card specifically. There's amount you pay, or you got financing amount. But those costs, you wouldn't see them if you're not paying attention, because they're just hidden there in the fees. But if you do pay attention, you'll realize, or the other costs are actually more than what you are supposed to be paying for. So like I've said, question number 2, or selection 2, you have to select between credit card and revolving loan. I want to know from you, my people, which one are you gonna go for, given the information that you know or you've learned through the radio? Okay, I think I just hit. I am experiencing some bit of technical issues, so we're just gonna take an ad break while we fix it. We'll see you in a few minutes. While editing, Corona, would you rather take a credit card or a revolving loan? Cheers. Our board of directors in the background, can you take an ad break? We are back again. This is Bay Waves, and we are talking about loans, everything that you need to know about loans. We were talking about car financing. We've heard a lot from our financial expert. He advised about things like what to look at when you're getting financing, repo rates. Okay, I think I've lost myself on the screen. Please send a thumbs up if you can hear or see this transmission. before I can proceed. Yebo. Are we still together? Please send a thumbs up if you can hear this transmission. I'm having some network glitches. So if you can hear or see this transmission, send some hearts or some likes so that I can know if I can proceed. Or thank you. I can see people are responding. Let me apologize for the glitches. The network is killing me this side, and my stand is also failing me. So if you see this camera moving left and right, just know or no, we are not having an earthquake. My stand is giving me problems. So I'm just gonna go back to the comment section. So the question was, would you rather take a revolving loan or a credit card? Carol, different between the two. Both come with high interest rates. An overdraft is a type of revolving credit. Oh, interesting, yes. My study are which one has higher interest rates? Anyway, I think a credit card fools people into thinking they have money. They have money, they obviously don't have law. Sometimes it's a struggle. I think we get finances for different purposes. Some people just want to get them for the lavish life and just spend money they don't have. But some, they really do need it either for business purposes or for whatever important purposes. But now we are talking in the instances where you really need the money. Last week I had an episode about how to make more money, how to save more money. So now we've came to this one because we know sometimes it's not feasible to save money. Sometimes it's not feasible to make more money. Like you need the money now, and business it will fetch a little later. So during that time, what do you actually do? That's why we're having this conversation about loans. Okay, should you go this route? These are the dangers that you will come across, and these are the things that you can avoid, this and that. These are just pointers should you go through the loan route. I don't think I've gotten enough answers about credit card versus revolving loan. But anyways, let's move forward. If you happen to have an answer for it, you can always come back to the comment section and throw it in. It makes me happy when people are playing this game with me. Please don't make me a lonely child. Join me. And the third one, notice account. For those who do not know, a notice account is basically account that you use for your savings, and then you have to place a certain period to withdraw it. So there are different terms. I think I'm just gonna hold my phone because this shaking, I cannot tolerate it. Just a second. I'm sorry for the bad camera lensing. I know for people with camera specs, but so edited as at this point because I'm just so that the show can go on. So yeah, a notice account, I was saying, or it's an account that you use for your savings, and then you have to place a withdrawal request for a time that you've chosen. So normally it's 7 days, a month, 3 months, like there are different times when it comes to a notice account. So question would you take a notice account with shorter days or longer days? Also tell us why. While I'm waiting for the answer, I see I see a comment from Taro Lomashako. Credit card does build your credit score if you keep it less than 50%. I do agree. It's also another way of, building your credit score. Like I've said, this is a tip that goes a long way. If you keep your debt under 50%, guys, you see your credit score just shoot up. If you maintain below 50%, normally it's a loan, normally it's a clothing account, normally it's a credit card, it boosts your thingy. But the dangers about Skolo, it is very addictive. It is very addictive. Once you tap into that zone, it's very difficult to go out. So okay, do you have a plan? How long do you plan to stay there? Because eventually the score doesn't go up anymore. It will just stay at that level until you do other things, like if you take out more money or something. Yeah, so you need to know, okay, what is your reason for taking that credit card? How long you plan to have it, have a whole assessment for yourself to keep you out of danger. Okay, which notice account would you take? The one with the shorter withdrawal period or the one with a longer withdrawal period? And please tell us why. Yeah, interact with me there in the comment section. Do not forget to share the live airing so that we can have more people play with me while I offer you free consultations. Yeah, and if you have any questions about loans, financing, this is the platform. Throw it in. Our financial expert is also out because of technical issues, but he will be able to answer all those questions offline. So even if this live airing is to end, he is still going to come back to those questions and answer them. So you're still going to see them. I see Kenneth, shorter days. I can't be waiting months to get my money. But sometimes it's urgent and color. I think this is why Dr. Baloina emphasized that people shouldn't confuse a notice account as an investment. If you want something that you want to keep away from you for a longer period, consider an investment entity, because notice account, I feel like it should be that one that you can easily access. No, but the nice thing about it is you gain interest. You do gain interest. Like I've said, with lack of better word, we're going to call it interest, because Dr. Valerie would tell us we shouldn't call it interest if it's savings. You only get your interest if it's an investment. So yeah. Carol Matavata, a notice account with longer withdrawal period. If I have to wait a while for my money, it's discouraging, and I would have the money in there until maturity. Most times when my savings account is to satisfy an immediate want. Sometimes that I can do without. This is very true as well. I don't know why I just got goosebumps right there, but this is very, very true. Sometimes your friends are going out and you don't have money at that very moment. And you think, can I have a notice account? Let me just. And I think the reason why they also have that penalty amount is to stop you from. So if you're still going for the shorter period, you're kind of deceiving the whole point. But yeah, let's get to hear more people. Okay, a shorter period or a longer period. But it's my money. I think I should access it anytime I want it. I don't want anybody controlling it for me. But then again, what is the purpose of saving that money? Maybe I want to start a business in 5 months to come, and if I go deep in, because I've already planned, okay, I'm gonna put in 500 rands into my notice account, and after the certain period, so it's a whole plan. So I'm also triple time for. Tarolo Mashakomu is saying longer days, so I can always think twice. So I can always think twice when I want to withdraw, meaning I'm able to earn more interest if I don't withdraw. A longer period if you need to think more, and a short period if you want that. You know, my money thing, it's my money and I can do whatever. And now let's would you, I know this one, this thing have it on, oh my goodness, oh my God. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. This debate, we have it a lot on our social platforms. Motho a reka koloi before ntlo, hey wara wara, hey wara wara. I want to know from you, my people, Bewiz family, Bold News family, which one would you go for, a car first or a house first? And give your reasons. We finally want to close this off. Okay, are we going for the car first or are we going for the house first? And there's a comment in the comment section from Lituko. It's a notice account, not an investment. So I should access it at any time. It's my money. I need to access it anytime. Yeah, I do agree. But I also agree with that longer period thinking twice thing. So I'm conflicted. Now let's talk about first, house first. I'll be waiting for you in the comment section. Given that both of them, they are, I don't want to say needs, because you always need a house before a car. But in an instance where you do have accommodation, so you don't actually need accommodation, and you do have another mode of transport that can take you to and fro from where you want to go. Or yeah, so Rivola like a luxury. If you get an amount of money, would you go for an additional house or an additional house? You should also bear in mind one as well, like a car for different reasons. For some, it's just a luxury, but for some, it's really a need. So I'm waiting for my people, a car first or a house first. We are also 5 minutes to closing, so let's wrap this game up and make sure we have fun at it. And the nice thing about this game is you get to learn a lot. You get to hear about people's insights, people's views. Sometimes when now you might think what you know is the right thing, and Kani, no, there's actually something better that is there. So yeah, for me, I would go for whatever I need at that particular moment, whatever that is going to save me more money or make more money. Yeah. And then the other one, well, we are still waiting for you to answer this one. Would you get a loan from a friend or a bank? Given that they give you the same standard rate, like the same rate as the same lending rate, would you rather ask from a friend or would you go to a bank? A friend include a woman, so yeah. They like to keep it crazy there in the townships and all, but say they are both offering you the same rate, which one would you go for and why? And the last one, the last question, so I'm just gonna throw in all these questions because we're close to closing. We're close to closing. You see what I did there? Yeah, so you can just answer the questions in the comment sections, and immediately after we end the live, I'm gonna come back and read all those amazing comments because I really like this game and I want to learn more. I need to know more, and there's somebody out there that could actually use this information. The last one, Kore, given you have a business idea, 100K, and a debt, 100K, and you get offered 100K, like you get offered or you win 100K, would you settle your debt, 100K, or would you finance your investment or your business idea, 100K? So are you gonna settle the debt or start your business or invest it? Which one are you gonna go for given that amount? I'm still looking forward to your comments, what you have to say about it. And if you have any questions about loans, please also make sure you drop them down in the comment section. It is 2 minutes to closing. I just want to say, Banawako Hai, let us really stop with this generational curse that is going on, this poverty thing. It should be a thing of the past. We should be that generation that makes money, that breathes money, that smells money, that eats money. The right way, of course, because I know there are a lot of corrupt ways of achieving all of this, but we want to do everything and while at it, develop Africa. So if you also have ideas of how we can build the economy of South Africa and Africa as a continent, make sure you drop them down in the comment section. And if you have any other questions about finances, this is a financial series for February. Please make sure you leave it in the comment section so that we can address it. We are here every Tuesday at 7 p.m. You can watch us live on YouTube or on Facebook. It's Bold Moves Radio. And for me and the Bayways family, along with Bold Moves, we love you so much and have a good night. Goodbye. Bye. I hate to say goodbye, but goodbye. Actually, since they're not ending this whole thing, let me just read a couple of things. I know I said my goodbyes, but this is very interesting. Just the last comments from the comment section. Carol, are a loan from a bank. I'm not trying to ruin friendships because involving money does have an element to that. I'll pay it back, but what if I don't get as she expects it sooner than I can, and he or she takes it as I don't want to pay it back. If I'm denied a loan from the bank, I obviously can't afford the money I'm asking for. Yeah, that's very true. Don't mess up relationships. Rather go through the bank route. That's my advice. That's my 2 pieces of sense. But I am not a financial advisor, so if you need more advice, please get in contact with registered FSPs. And Tarol, are a friend, if I can't pay, my credit score won't be affected. So a bank it is. If I can't pay the arrangement, a friend don't make arrangements. This is actually funny, but it's true. A loan from a friend doesn't affect your credit score, but the damage, emotional damage. Kenneth, I'll definitely study my business. What if Papa? Think of that too. Carol, I'd be very much settle a debt free. Income ensures that and whatever that she was using to pay per month, then she can start her own business. As Busiso, I'll go for a bank loan. My Shoshanista won't blacklist you. They have their own ways to do with you. So please, guys, I want my Shonisa. And this time I'm leaving for real, for real. So good night. Do the right thing. Bye. I know I hate goodbyes, but bye. I'm out.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is.
Streaming 24/7. 24/7. Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika nakupenda sana, oh Afrika nakupenda sana.